Right, editor, future Chessbait here. Welcome to another episode of the Chessbait Drivecast. I have to give you guys a warning just because there's going to be even more traffic sounds than usual. Usually I try to keep it low so that way, you guys enjoy it. But unfortunately, I was on either an interstate or just a highway or just some big road, and there was just way too much traffic. So I know it happens every now and then, but just I apologize for it happening today and every other time that it happens in the past and from now on. Anyways, back to the video. Hello everybody, welcome to the Chessbait Drivecast. Your I actually can't remember the words anymore. Your one-stop shop for kind of controversial topics and kind of controversial opinions. Now, I'm not actually going to be talking about opinions. I'm going to be having a little bit of a motivational TED Talk to all of you listening out there. Yes, I swear, I sound like the guy from Midnight Gospel. I shout out to an empty void, hoping anyone will listen to my podcast. Some of you seem to be enjoying it, so, I am thankful for that. But, let's just hope I didn't forget anything like I did last time. If you guys couldn't tell, I'm a little, short-winded. That's because this is my second take. I completely messed up the first time. And now, I need to make sure that I don't mess up again. So, the first time around, I was going to talk about, how I'm trying to get into the PC game. I'm trying to understand, the different parts. I gotta figure out how to dual boot Arch Linux and Windows, or at least figure out how a VM works, some ordinary gamer style. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about motivation. We're here to talk about getting stuff done. Jeez, I am so close to just swearing every other word just because I want to get my words out, and I can't. But TLDR, I'm just going to tell you that while we're on this trip, I'm going to try to motivate you guys to get stuff done. Whatever you want to get done, whatever hobby, whatever activity, whatever goal you had. I'm guessing by the time this comes out, it's probably going to be halfway through the year. I don't really plan these things ahead, but I do just because I kind of record these as I go. However, I do know that since I've started recording this, most people probably already dropped their New Year's resolutions. I know, I'm bringing up New Year's resolutions in the middle of the year. And it's because it's New Year's on my side, and you got to give me a little bit of leeway here. I'm gonna be talking about motivation, and the one source of motivation that everybody seems to have. I just realized I went the wrong direction again. It's fine. I can find an ATM somewhere, but the number one source of motivation for most people is, what do you call it? Man, I just realized that I really need cash on me right now. This is awkward. I'm thinking. I'll figure it out as I go. I'm a little too freeform right now. I'm not really focused, which is kind of ironic because that's the whole topic of this Drivecast. So, the thing I want to talk to you guys about, if you have something that you want to do, in the words of Shia LaBeouf in that Do It video, like just go for it. Seriously, just don't wait until tomorrow, because there will always be a tomorrow, and this is kind of counterintuitive, but you never know if there is going to be a tomorrow. You don't want to wake up the next day realizing that you didn't get anything done and that you regret anything. And sometimes that's fine. It's fine to regret that you didn't get certain things done. However, you gotta pick yourself back up. You gotta be willing to still go for it, even though you messed up. Sure, you might have fallen behind on schedule on homework, or I don't know, whatever your hobbies you're trying to do. If you're trying to learn a new language or trying to learn how to use a new instrument, forget falling behind. I get that you can't just leave the past alone, but you gotta move on from the mistakes that you've made. Sure, you've made mistakes, you've messed up. So what? I just realized this is gonna sound like a really off tangent way of me trying to correct myself after the whole video on trans rights, and not rights, but just my whole fiasco with the trans world and all that. And it's gonna be really awkward having to juxtapose that with this, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh my gosh. Anyways, don't wait until tomorrow. That's all I'm saying.
as a person who I wouldn't say suffer from depression, but have suffered some very I don't know. I haven't seen any professionals about it because I'm not saying I don't believe in it, but a lot of it is covered in pseudoscience. Not pseudoscience, but it's I don't know what the exact word is, but I don't know. Like, I understand the whole, like, there's mental health is a thing. It should be important. Yada yada yada. Blah blah blah. Armageddon. But at the same time, it's really hard to. I don't know, because the human mind is such an enigma, you can't really scientifically record or accurately do any experiments with them, which is quite confounding. I'm sorry, I just really need to make sure that I make this U-turn, which of course I did, because why would I? But, yeah, as I was saying before, because, hey, let's go in here. Because you think there's so many obstacles that are gonna remain in your way, but you gotta learn to just deal with them one at a time. As a person who's dealt with dealing too many situations at once or too many obstacles at once, I can tell you it's. Oops, I gotta turn in here. I gotta tell you, it can be overwhelming. I'm not really making a good argument for myself here because I'm a little too freeform with my conversation, arguments, whatever you want to call this thing, whatever Drivecast, motivation, TED Talk you want to call it. But I get it. When you're having a hard time, and it doesn't even have to be anything big. It can be even the smallest thing. You can have a problem. You can be having a hard time with just one problem in your math homework that could just absolutely screw you over. I know that feeling. As a person who's, I've already explained to you guys, I've been in plenty of math competitions. I know what it feels like to be frustrated over even the smallest minute things. I've been in a freaking orchestra, for Pete's sake, for over a decade now, I think? No, not over a decade, but almost a decade. And I can tell you, it is really, you just get, I remember playing as a middle schooler, and in an ensemble, and it's really frustrating when you just keep getting something wrong in not just performances, but just in rehearsals, everything in general, and you feel like you completely lost yourself. You feel like you're not doing anything right, and it's fine. Like, I'm not saying to drop everything and all of a sudden not care about how well you do in things, because that's not the point that I'm trying to make. As a person who likes the slippery slope argument way too much, I like taking things to the logical extreme, and I get it. When you make one mistake and you let it go, then you start allowing 2 mistakes and 3, and oh my gosh, I keep spitting on the wheel, and you think that there's no end in sight for mistakes like that, and I understand what you mean. It's quite frustrating, and frankly, it's not idealistic. As a person who's flipped around from being from a pessimist to an optimist, and just back and forth overall way too often, I can tell you it's really awkward having to be in that position. South is this way. It's really awkward having to go back and forth, and how do I say this? I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys can hear me over the car sounds. This is the first time that I'm actually going to the freeway, so I'm gonna have to focus a lot more than usual. I haven't driven the freeway in such a long time. Weird tangent. I'll talk about it in the next episode. But like I mentioned before, if you have a goal, then don't let it just sit in your bucket list, just collecting dust. Don't let it do that. If you have a dream, you have a dream for a reason, and it's there for a reason, and you're probably meant to get it done. Okay. Safe entrance. Good. Yeah, like I said, you're meant to get it done. Oh, okay, not meant to get it done, but you want to get it done, and you should try to strive for that. You could make the whole argument of, I'm not good enough, I'm not going to be able to do it. Well, you're never going to know unless if you try, right? Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm just giving a motivational speech to myself. I'm just trying to reassure myself, in all honesty. Recently I haven't had a hard time with school, but I've been having a hard time with just motivation in general. It's been happening for years. It's happened since before senior year of high school. I know a lot of people talk about senioritis and how during senior year nobody ever really tries anything, but this is like senioritis only made things worse for me. It's only been a confounding variable. I could blame it on senioritis for me not doing well in school in senior year and all that, but that's not really the truth. I want to be truthful with myself. Oh my gosh, I'm boxed in with a bunch of cars. That's fine. We're going to take the slow road today. Relatively slow in car terms, but highway terms. But gosh, what was I about to say? I don't know. Like, me having a lack of motivation has just been a thing that's existed for quite a while, and I don't know how to solve it. It's just been there. I don't really know a solution to it. And the problem is, once you start. The problem with people like me is that once you face even the smallest of adversity, like I mentioned before with the math problem, you just absolutely break down and stop wanting to even try in the first place, and that's not really healthy. It's not a good mentality to have. I remember as a kid, I used to be so much more eager to get stuff done. I remember when I was doing all the math problems from not math camp but math competitions. Sure, I wasn't the smartest guy in the room. Like there were people 2 years younger than me that knew how to do this stuff much faster and much better than I did. But the thing that really mattered was that I could get it done in the first place. And after a little bit of after a lot of time, you learn to get stuff done, and you understand the intricacies of how stuff gets done. And once you spend enough time on it, you feel like an absolute god. And that's the point of all this. I don't remember I watched the Wired video yesterday, and they were talking about it was the one with the conductor talking about music portrayal in movies. Like conductors and all that. And they were talking about how like no one comes out perfect on their first day. No one's expecting you to go from chopsticks and amateur to freaking Mozart within a day. Like that's just unrealistic. Let's be real here. And yeah, Mozart. Everybody goes back to Mozart. But that's not the point. We're not here to talk about that. The point is, you have to be willing to put that effort in it. Nothing ever comes free. Nothing ever comes easy. Because if anything ever came that easy, then everybody would be doing it. It's a quote as old as time, and it's true. Think about it honestly. If weight loss was that easy, if it came in one pill, if it came in one machine, well, not a running machine, but the fat rubbing machine things that people try to scam you off on the internet. If those things were so truly amazing, don't you think that everybody would be buying them, and the government will be mass producing them to try to make them the most affordable and apparent thing in the world? It seems kind of obvious, but it doesn't just grow on trees. Like solutions like that just don't grow on trees. You may be given an opportunity to better yourself, but you got to be the person that's willing to put in the work. You got to be the person that's willing to put in the effort and the time into getting stuff done. Yesterday, I just lost 1.5 kilograms. I'm sorry that I'm using metric units. Imperial people, you guys can just, I don't know, suck a dong or something like that, because I don't really like pounds all that much anyways. I don't like using pounds. I'm just gonna be real with you. But yeah, I lost 1.5 kilograms, which I believe is was it 4 pounds? Just from not eating a meal and running for an hour, or over an hour, but just slightly over an hour. And I was astounded by how much progress I've gotten just in one day. And I'm starting to think, hey, if I could keep that up every day, I could genuinely get back to the fitness level and health that I was back in sophomore year of high school. Yeah, I gained a lot of weight in a very short amount of time, but I know that I'm also able to lose it all. This is just a small hiccup in my life, and I'll be able to recover and become even better than I was before. And that's the mentality that you should have. If you think that you're going to end up in a bad situation, or if you think that the outcome is going to be bad, chances are your mind is going to pick and search for things that nitpick things that you did wrong, and they're just going to confound into you thinking that everything's going to turn out terrible. But sometimes it's okay to think that things are going to be just fine. It's okay to think that it's fine to think not unrealistically, but it's fine to think optimistically. Like, the more this is such a cheesy way to think about it, but the more you think about not staying happy, but the more you try to think of yourself in a more positive light, the more likely that you'll change yourself in a positive light. Like I said, it's basically the opposite of what I said before. If a negative thought makes you nitpick all the negative things, a positive thought not necessarily will make you nitpick positive things, but it'll lead to a better path. And that's all I'm trying to say. If I've had the mentality of thinking, oh, if I get knocked down, it's not worth getting back up because I'll just get knocked down again. Well, it doesn't matter. You're gonna get back up again anyways. Oh, Mahindra! I didn't know Mahindra had a building here. Sorry, I just that was a really bad tangent. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah. Just be willing to take that step. Just be willing to take that next step in order to better yourself. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for coming to my Chessbait Drivecast TED Talk. And this was not as long as I thought it would be. 17 minutes, that's about the average time for a TED Talk. I'll see you guys next time. I gotta focus on driving because if I keep talking, I feel like I might accidentally crash. So, see you guys later.